It's common practice for convicted offenders to have one final opportunity to speak to the public before they're put to death by taking the stage one last time and addressing the audience. It doesn't matter if it's a chilling statement with the intention of shocking or upsetting those in attendance, a lighthearted statement that attempts to get a few chuckles, or a final slap in the face of society. Throughout the years, criminals have had some pretty interesting things to say the minutes prior to taking their final breath. These statements have ranged from chilling to lighthearted to a final slap in the face of society, like I said before. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be looking at the most disturbing last words of death row inmates. Yeah, you heard it right. So, let's start our video. Number 1. John Wayne Gacy. Last words: kiss my ass. John Wayne Gacy was convicted of the rape and murder of 33 men between 1972 and his arrest in 1978. The former Children's Party entertainer became known as the Killer Clown because of all the parties he attended in his clown suit and full-face makeup. Gacy was executed by lethal injection just after midnight on May 10, 1994. When asked if he had any last words, Gacy is said to have snarled these 3 simple words. Number 2. Aileen Wuornos. Last words: I just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day, with Jesus June 6th. Like the movie, big mothership and all, I'll be back. Aileen Wuornos, abandoned by her parents at a young age, was working as a prostitute and robbing people to support herself by the time she became a teenager. In 1989 and 1990, Wuornos shot, killed, and robbed at least 6 men. Arrested and tried in 1991, she received a total of 6 death sentences, earning her the inaccurate label by the press of being the first female American serial killer. Number 3. George Apple. Last words: well gentlemen, you're about to see a baked apple. Clearly keeping a sense of humor right until his last moment. This pun was to be the final words of convicted murderer George Apple before he was executed in the electric chair in New York in 1928 for the murder of a New York City police officer. Number 4. Peter Curtin. Last words: tell me, after my head has been chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from the stump of my neck? That would be a pleasure to end all pleasures. Peter Curtin, more commonly known as the Vampire of Dusseldorf, is believed to have killed nearly 60 people in Germany. He beat, raped, and drank the blood of at least one of his victims. Curtin was executed by guillotine on July 2, 1931. Number 5. John Spankelink. Last words: capital punishment, them without the capital get the punishment. John Spankelink was a drifter convicted of killing a traveling companion, which he claimed was done in self-defense. Incidentally, he was also the first man to be put to death in Florida after the US Supreme Court reinstated capital punishment in 1976. Number 6. Barbara Bloody Babs Graham. Last words: good people are always so sure they're right. Barbara Bloody Babs Graham was a prostitute, drug addict, and murderess who was executed in the gas chamber at San Quentin in 1955 along with 2 accomplices. Graham beat an elderly woman to death when a robbery went bad. When she was strapped into the gas chamber by Joe Ferretti, the man in charge of her execution, he told her, "Now take a deep breath and it won't bother you." To which she responded, "How would you know?" Number 7. Gary Gilmore. Last words: let's do it. Convicted of killing a motel manager, Gary Gilmore was put to death in Utah on January 17, 1977, by a volunteer firing squad. He became the first person to be executed after the US reinstated the death penalty in 1976, ending a 10-year lapse. Gilmore donated his organs, and shortly after he was executed, 2 people received his corneas. Notably, Gilmore gained further fame posthumously when advertising executive Dan Whedon credited Gilmore's parting words as the inspiration for Nike's tagline. Number 8. Carl Panzram. Last words: in my lifetime, I've murdered 21 human beings. I've committed thousands of burglaries, robberies, larcenies, arsons, and last but not least, I have committed sodomy on more than 1,000 male human beings. For all of these things, I am not in the least bit sorry. Carl Panzram was a serial killer, rapist, arsonist, and burglar who was hanged on September 5, 1930. Without ever showing any sign of remorse for his crimes, he refused to appeal his sentence. He even threatened to kill members of human rights groups who attempted to appeal on his behalf. Defiant until the end, Panzram went on to tell his own executioner, "Hurry it up, you Hoosier bastard. I could hang a dozen men while you're screwing around." Number 9. Timothy McVeigh. Last words, I am the master of my fate, I'm the captain of my soul. Timothy McVeigh is best known as the Oklahoma City bomber who was convicted of setting the bomb which killed 149 adults and 19 children at the federal building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, on April 19, 1995. McVeigh had no final words before being executed by lethal injection on June 11, 2001, in Indiana. Although he did leave a handwritten statement quoting the last lines of the poem called Invictus by Sir William Ernest Henley. Number 10. James French. Last words. How's this for a headline? French fries. James French was the last person to be executed by an electric chair under Oklahoma's death penalty on August 10, 1966. Already in prison for life, but allegedly afraid to commit suicide, French murdered his cellmate, apparently to compel the state to execute him. And that's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section down below. I hope that you found this video interesting, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. See you in the following video with some more of the latest updates, and until then, stay tuned.